All right, let's be honest, lab values are the bane of every nursing student's existence. You memorize them, ace the quiz, and then 2 days later, you can't remember what BUN even stands for. So today we're skipping the memorization game and focusing on what matters. What each lab actually says about the system that it comes from. Once you know that connection, these numbers actually start to make sense automatically. The heart is the drama queen of the body, so let's start there. When something called troponin rises, this is heart muscle damage. So think myocardial infarction. BNP, this is your ventricles yelling that they are tired from the fluid overload. And electrolytes are your rhythm controllers. Low potassium would lead to irritability, PVCs, and maybe VTAC. High potassium can slow conduction and maybe even cause asystole. Low magnesium or calcium cause unstable rhythms as well. So essentially, if the monitor looks a little funky to you, check the labs first. Your heart usually tells you what's wrong before the ECG does. And now your kidneys. These are your filters. Their main labs over here are BUN, creatinine, and GFR. BUN rises with dehydration or waste buildup. Creatinine goes up when filtration truly drops. And a GFR below 60, this is chronic kidney disease territory. And here's the kicker. When the kidneys fail, potassium builds up and brings you right back to the cardiac trouble. Everything here is connected. The liver is your detox and factory zone. ALT and AST rise when liver cells are damaged. Bilirubin climbs when bile isn't processed, which leads to that jaundice. Ammonia spikes when the liver can't clear toxins, and this is when that confusion kicks in, which is a classic sign of hepatic encephalopathy. So when you see high ALT, AST, yellow eyes, and confusion, this is not random. It's the one system failing and taking the rest with it. Blood work is your patient's status update in real time. Hemoglobin and hematocrit show oxygen carrying capacity. If it's low, this means anemia or blood loss. A high WBC can mean infection, low can mean immune suppression. And then platelets control clotting. Low means that there's a bleeding risk. Low platelets with bruising everywhere, you're not just thinking to give platelets, you're asking why. And this often loops back to the liver or bone marrow. Now let's not forget sodium. Sodium lives rent-free in neuro. Too low and the brain swells. Confusion, seizures, and even coma can occur. Too high and everything dries out. You'll be thirsty, there's irritability and restlessness. So when you see an altered LOC and the sodium's off, you've basically solved half your neuro puzzle. And here's the secret. Stop trying to memorize every number. Memorize the patterns. If you compare each major lab with its home system, you can reason through everything. Ask yourself which organ owns this lab value. Once you know that, the trends tell you the story. Some examples over here. If you have BUN and creatinine that are both rising, the kidneys are tired. AST, ALT, bilirubin all high, the liver is waving its white flag. Low H&H but stable platelets, probably anemia but not an active bleed. This is how you shift from guessing to interpreting. So next time you're staring at a giant lab report, don't panic, go system by system. Each abnormal value is just an organ saying, hey, something's off with me. Once you start connecting those dots, labs stop being random numbers, they become a full body conversation you can actually understand.